I didn't notice it at first. The apartment felt normal, quiet, peaceful, too peaceful. I had been sitting there for hours, doing nothing, listening to the sound of nothing. No cars, no voices, no wind. That's when I realized how loud the silence was. It felt wrong. I stood up and walked toward the hallway. The lights were on, but the shadows didn't make sense. They stretched too far, moved too slowly. I stopped and listened. Nothing. Then I heard it. Breathing not behind me, inside the walls. Slow, heavy, like something trying not to be heard. I told myself it was the building. Old pipes, old walls, but the breathing followed me, room to room. Closer every time. I never saw anything. That was the worst part, because whatever was there knew exactly where I was. I tried to distract myself, turned on the TV, raised the volume. The sound filled the room, but the silence didn't leave. It waited behind the noise. I turned the TV off. The breathing was clearer now. Closer. I checked the doors, locked the windows, closed. The apartment was sealed, and still, it was inside. The lights flickered once, then stayed on. My reflection in the hallway mirror looked wrong, not different, delit, like it was watching me instead of copying me. I stepped back. The reflection didn't. I stopped looking. I focused on listening. The breathing changed, slower, calmer, as if it knew I finally understood. This wasn't something passing through. It lived airy, and I was the one who didn't belong. I moved carefully, afraid the sound of my footsteps would tell it where I was, but it already knew. Every time I stopped, the breathing stopped too. Every time I moved, it moved. Not behind me, around me, in the walls, in the ceiling, in the floor, everywhere. I sat down on the floor, back against the wall. I didn't blink. I didn't breathe. I've waited. Minutes passed. Or hours. Time didn't matter anymore. The apartment felt smaller, closer, like the walls were listening. Then the breathing stopped. Completely. The silence returned, heavier than before. That was when I understood. It wasn't hunting me. It was waiting for me to relax, waiting for me to believe it was gone. I stood up slowly. The lights went out. In the darkness, I felt the air move. Not a hand, not a touch, a presence. Right in front of me. Close enough that I could feel it breathing again. But this time, it wasn't hiding. It wasn't afraid. It was patient. I didn't scream. There was no point. Because whatever was standing there had been watching me long before I noticed it, and it would still be there long after I left. If I ever left, the silence returned. The apartment went back to normal. Too normal. And that's when I realized something worse. It didn't follow me. It stayed, waiting for the next person to notice the silence.